That's a pretty sick super.
Yee, it looks dope.
If you're okay doing like a quick Q&A, kind of just like recapping and reflecting on the sets, because one, it's super helpful. Hopefully with me being on camera, it's obvious that I'm not tilted. It doesn't feel great to lose, but having a consistent connection and a sparring partner, essentially, a character that you get to play over and over, is super, super helpful.
Yeah, no problem. I'll try to answer the best I can. LOL.
The mistake that a lot of people would do, they'd be like, either tell me everything I did wrong, or the more experienced player, they would have good intentions to just kind of like overload the newer player with like all this information that's going to go in one ear and out the other. Okay, so the stuff that I want to get out of the way, my kind of like preamble, first of all, is Dups knows his character way better than I do. No doubt. No. He's going to finish with a super. Dang it. Second of all, Dups knows the system mechanics of City of the Wolves specifically way more than I do. I can do the special move inputs, but I don't know off the top of my head what are all the buttons. You know, what's the close jab versus the far jab? A big part of City of the Wolves is linking those OD moves all together, right? And for me, I can't even envision which ODs I should be linking together with Preecha. So sometimes I'm just throwing out certain moves. Consciously, I know it's a bad move to do, but because this is like hour 3 of me playing City of the Wolves, I'm just like throwing stuff out just to see if I can remember the stuff, and that's not a good habit.
Here goes.
duppskonor's punishes are there. So if I make a stupid mistake, which there were plenty, you know, punishing me on the whiff sweep, punishing me on the whiff throw. No. He's gonna finish with a super. Dang it. He was there to take like a third, 2/3 of my health sometimes. So being more privy to those smaller exchanges, utilizing just defense, whether on the ground or in the air, is something that I did not capitalize. And trying to remember that that's something I could do on jump in. So yes, he's punishing me there, but I could probably jump in with a just defend. And you saw that every time I jumped in with like a kick, like I don't know if you want to even call it an uppercut, that stupid slow punch that Vox had. Was it so obvious when I would jump in? Or do you think like you just have the reflexes to read for anti-airs in general because of all the fighting games you play?
I would just sometimes pause and look for a jump. Like, if I have a life lead, sometimes I can just sit in a certain spot on the screen and wait and see what my opponent does.
The following question would be, how do I mix that up? How do I become less predictable? Another flip side of that was crouching block is supposed to be the way to go on fighters like this and Street Fighter. Every time I was taking the crouching block, that's when you automatically knew to do that jumping kick into me. And yeah, my reactions were bad to like stand back up the block. But again, I wonder if that's just like me being so predictable. I have a limited knowledge base of Preecha, and I have only like a handful of like flowchart routes to go. So for me, on the opposing side, I'm like trying my best to like cycle them, but it's like every time I cycled to a different route, it seemed even more predictable for you to counter it. I couldn't shake that rhythm. Like every time I did the switch up, you also did the appropriate switch up. So then I'd switch up again, and like I would rotate A to B, you would rotate A to B. I would rotate B to C, you would rotate B to C.
It's easy to play neutral with Vox too, since his buttons are pretty far-reaching.
Whoa, interrupted the super? The range, the hitbox for it doesn't make any sense on how far you can go with it.
It's prob harder to get that situation with Preecha.
Dude, her crouching A is so stubby. Whenever I do manage to hit an opponent with it, like, they were walking forward stupidly for me to even, like, touch them. You have to basically be in throw range. it's obvious on what I need to improve, knowledge of the character and implementation of the system mechanics for City of the Wolves, and then being less predictable.
Fighting games, I'm loving it. Fighting games, I'm loving it. Like Rick, James, and cocaine, and how much he was shoving it. When you don't know your frames, you know I'm gonna punish it. Throw loops on this hook. Chase man, fighting games, I love it. Fighting games, I'm loving it. Fighting games, I'm loving it. Like Rick, James, and cocaine, and how much he was shoving it. When you don't know your frames, you know I'm gonna punish it. Throw loops on this hook. Chase man, fighting games, I love it. I don't need no salt or tip.